Hello, my name is Charter. Welcome to part 2 of the Egyptian statue tutorial. Let's pick up right where we left off. Okay, so the last time we covered the 6 previous types of statues, and we have the 3 big ones remaining here for part 2. The first one is going to be, of course, the Sphinx. So the dimensions for the large Sphinx are as follows. It is 15 blocks wide by 39 blocks long back that way, and 21 blocks tall. The materials you will need for this are 111 blocks of diorite, 627 blocks of granite, 303 blocks of cobbled deep slate, 312 blocks of deep slate tiles, and 3,547 blocks of cobblestone, if and only if you want to fill in the middle of the statue as a solid. If you just want to build it as a shell, you only need the first 4 materials. So, to get started, you want to make a rectangle of 15 by 39, like you see done here. And the examples I'm showing you are the ones that are all filled in with cobble. Once you have done that, you want to go around and use your cobbled deep slate and your deep slate tiles, and make the following pattern here. Of course, I'm just marking out the pattern here because I think the gray and the blackish gray may not be the easiest to see. So we just have a simple 1, 2, 3 block pattern as decoration along the bottom frame there. So I'm using the blue glazed terracotta so you can easily see that. And once you have done that, you want to stack it up to another block level here. We're block level 3 as we go. Each of this is divided into 1 block level slices. So each level I'm showing you is 1 block higher than the previous one, like this one here. And this completes the base of our statue, and we will start building the statue momentarily. Of course, in Egyptian art, it's a rule. You have to have all your characters standing on something. In the middle here, you want to place a little bit of a cobbled, of deep slate tiles. I'll remember to get these names right someday. You want to place 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those there. And along the side here, you want to place a 2 wide with 1, 2, 3, 20 blocks long. So 2 by 20. You want to do that on both sides because our Sphinx is symmetrical. If you draw a center line and divide the statue in 2, it is symmetrical on both sides. And there's just 2 blocks of deep slate tiles back here at the back. And that forms the top of the statue, the top of the base anyway. I didn't use additional deep slate because it'll just be covered up by the Sphinx. So there's no need in wasting materials. It's only the cobble that is used for the inside where you can't see it. All right, for the outside here, we want to start building the paws of the Sphinx. And you can do those according to the following pattern here. I think this is fairly easy to do. You can use the deep slate that we already measured out on the middle and along the sides here to get the numbering for that, and then you just cut in by 2 blocks, then over here with 3 blocks of granite, then diorite, cobbled deep slate, back to diorite, and then granite all the way back and to the back till you want to make this pattern here, forming the rounded hind quarter of your Sphinx. This is the first layer of that, and of course on the other side you just mirror the entire thing going back in the other direction. Alright, next level, we are stacking up everything that we have just done, except the paws here. We do have a block here that is cut out to represent the different fingers for the paws of our Sphinx. And back here is the detail of that. We're just stacking everything up, but cutting out 1 block right there, like you see here, and you're stacking up everything along the back as well. All right, next phase, we'll start with the look from the top down. We are finishing off the paws of our Sphinx, done like so. Of course, we have these little armbands going across the paws here. I just added these for decoration's sake. So they will, it's a motif I used on the other statues, so I carried them over to the Sphinx, so they would all have similar design language. Back here, you can see we just have simple stacked up granite there, and along these sides here. And this is going to be what, seven blocks back from there, and then just stacking that up. We do have some details where we're starting to curve in the granite here. Like you see, you want to build both of these sections of granite. Like you see there, this is going to correspond to the rear paws of the Sphinx back here, and then we're just stacking up everything along the back here like so. All right, next phase. We finished the paws, so we are building now the body of our Sphinx, and it's being done according to this simple pattern here with the granite. Like you see done there, stack everything up, just a solid wall along the sides for now. We finished off the back paws as well, and we're building out the rest of the back of the body back here. Well, we are cutting in the rear a little bit. We need to start rounding that off at the back here, so that is indeed what we are doing. Let's go on to this next phase over here. So we're building now here with the deep slate tiles a bit of the headdress of our Sphinx, of the pleated Cobra Nemesis headdress, I think is what it's called. And you're doing that according to this pattern here with the granite and the deep slate. Behind that, we are cutting in this by a couple of blocks. This is 4 blocks here. And then you just want to do a straight run of granite until you get to this point back here. And you can use your band back here as a guide to help you place these. We're just doing simple diagonals at this point. Then 3 blocks here, and then 2, and then a diagonal run of, 4? And then 3 along here at the back. All right, let's go on to the next phase here. A bit more of the headdress, a bit of the neck here with the granite. Just 3 blocks for that, and then a straight run of granite right on top of what you did. And back here again, we are curving in the rump of the Sphinx here at the back according to this pattern here. All right, again, the front of the Sphinx here, we're building out the neck and the headdress. We do have 1 block here. This is going to be the lower part of the beard for the Sphinx. Of course, the Sphinx in Egypt did originally have a beard, but it has since fallen off. I believe part of it is actually in the British Museum, and I don't know where the rest of it is. Probably in the Cairo Museum, I think. They could probably put it back together if they had all of it, but I think that they don't quite have enough fragments. So, views for the back here, we're just a simple pattern there with the granite. And we will go on to the next phase. So here, a bit more, another block for the beard. We have the neck behind that there. We have the alternating diorite and deep slate tiles here for the headdress. And it's being bent around back like you see done here. And very shortly we're going to be building the head only. Here you're capping off the central part of the body with just a straight slab of granite, and then we just have a little bit more granite back here for the rump of the Sphinx here. And then we'll just take an immediate look at this next phase here, which finishes off the rear of the Sphinx entirely. You know, it's Minecraft. We have to do our best to replicate the round and organic and undulating shapes as best we can with as few blocks as we have. Back here is a bit more. I believe this is we only have 3 blocks for the beard. So we have the headdress being built like this here. And the next phase here, we're not only building the head, we're also building the face. I think the face for this one is, I think it's just a 5x5 square of granite with the headdress on either sides, like you see done there. A bit more of the flat and expressionless face here, like you see done there. Next phase over here, a bit more of the flat and expressionless face, and a bit of the headdress that's just being stacked up at this point here. Next phase, we are building now the eyes for the Sphinx. We just have 2 hollow blocks for that. We could, I did try and experiment with adding a nose or something on it, but it looked ridiculous, so I did not include it on the reference model. Of course, the Sphinx in Egypt has lost its nose quite a long time ago. Most statues usually lose their nose first because it sticks out, so it's a very exposed part. Some people think Napoleon shot it off with his cannons, but of course he was far too interested and respectful of the ancient monuments to do something like that. It was gone long before he got there. Alright, next phase, we're finishing off now the top of the headdress. We have just a little bit of the uraeus on the front here, just a couple of blocks to represent the cobra on the front of the headdress, just like it is on King Tut's death mask, the big golden one that everyone's no doubt seen. We're representing that here, and we're just finishing off the headdress at this level here. And then just one more block on top of that to finish off the cobra on the top there. And your large Sphinx will be complete. Someday I may do a larger one. It'll probably have its own tutorial, but I'm not done with that reference model. I'm actually thinking I will just use a 3D model for one I can find somewhere. Because once you get past this stage, doing freehand designing statues takes too much time, so I tend to resort to a 3D model for those and just import it and then clean it up from there, because it saves just too much time not to do. So over here, we will now be doing the large seated pharaoh statue. The dimensions for this one is 19 by 21 by 54. The materials you will need for this is 680 blocks of diorite, 754 blocks of granite, 778 blocks of cobbled deep slate, 288 deep slate tiles, and if you want to fill it solid, you will need 5,156 blocks of cobblestone. So, to get started, you want a 19 by 21, 19 this way, 21 back that way. You want to make a rectangle out of that. And then we just have another very simple pattern here, alternating the deep slate tiles and the cobbled deep slate, like you see done here in a 1:5 ratio. Well, 1 to 3 on the sides and 1 to 5 on the front, like that there. And then you just want to stack that up like you have done with all of the previous statues, and then you want to stack it up again with just the ring of the cobbled deep slate, and then we need to place the deep slate tiles for the exposed portions of the front, or rather the top of the base. So if we have our center line right here, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 again, and then 5. On the corners, we have a 3 by what? 5, and then 3 there. 3 here, skip 2 there, and then skip 3, and 3 there. And you want to make that pattern on both sides, like you see done there, and then we can start placing our statue on top of that. Of course, this is the seated pharaoh statue, so he has a big throne that he sits on. If you, this would be a good use for a mountain base, or rather a cliffside base. If you wanted to, you could build 4 of these statues flanking an entrance, 2 on either side, And you could dress up your base like Abu Simbel, actually. That's generally what I will use these for. Sometimes I will only use them in pairs. But if you want to use them with 4 statues, you could use that. So over here we have granite for the feet of your pharaoh statue, like so, just sitting directly in this footprint here with the cobble. Behind that we have various alternating patterns of granite, diorite, and cobbled deep slate, as you see done here, just to decorate out our throne a little and replicate the palace facade design. I think these were first used in Old Kingdom, first or second dynasty mastabas. I know for sure Djoser used it in the Step Pyramid. Over here we have a bit more of our feet with the granite here. The throne behind that here, with just the regular patterns that you did. I think you just it looks like you just stacked those up directly on top of each other, and you're going to be doing that for a while, I think, as I recall. So a bit more detail here for the feet. We are building, I think, now the ankles. Right here we have the throne chair back here, as you see, being stacked up like you have been doing. We have some little ankle details, and of course the throne behind that. I think you're just following the same pattern again. You're just stacking it directly on top. Also for this next one back here, I think. Different color, but same pattern for the ankles here. We just have these little anklets around here for decoration. Next phase here with the diorite, just the same ones here. And the throne chair again still being stacked up back here and back here again. Looks like we do have some difference on the next one. But back here we have a bit more of, I think we're building now, I think the calves of our pharaoh statue, like so. And the next phase from that here. Not too difficult. We do have now differences here for the throne chair decoration, like you see. We got a bit of granite here on the front and diorite on the sides. Just straight lines of those. And then for the next phase is straight back to the pattern that we did before. Here a bit more detail for the legs. I think we're just stacking up, straight up what we did before. Next phase, I think it's the same deal. In fact, it looks exactly like the last phase. We can move on to this one here. So, a bit more for the legs here. I don't think they've changed yet, not until we get to the knees. Behind that, though, we are replicating, again, what we did 3 phases ago with the granite down there at the front and the diorite on the sides. Back here to replicate the projecting and recessing palace facade design, which is very common in ancient Egypt to use, one of their main repeating patterns. Back here we now have a bit of a difference for the legs here, just a block cut out from there. And I think we're also now beginning to build the top of the throne chair, so we're capping the whole thing off with the cobbled deep slate, like you see around there for the sides, but the back of the throne goes up quite a bit more, so we're not doing that there quite yet. But we are doing it here at the front, like you see done here. Let me just give you a view in here, and we will go on to the next phase. So here, I think we are just about to build the knees of our pharaoh statue. And we have just straight runs of diorite here. And then we have this design again on the back. All right, in next phase, we have our knees are now bending in to our upper legs here. We've already gone through several phases, but the pharaoh statue is so big we are only up to the knees at this point. So you want to construct those according to this design here. Very simple along the side here, just straight runs of diorite. And our throne chair at the back here is continuing to rise up there. All right, next phase, we're now building out a bit of the arms on the side of our throne chair. We have some diorite here in the middle. And we have our arms attached to the side here with the granite and everything. Of course, we have some little armlets on the wrist at the side here. And the same design here at the back of the throne. All right, over here again, we'll start at the front. We have a diorite here for the very white starched kilts that they all seem to wear in the painted reliefs. And detail for the arms along the sides here. And for the back here. All right, and next phase, we have the center of the statue here. I believe we now have the belt around the waist here with the cobbled deep slate. We are finishing the arms along the sides here, as you see, and the back of the throne here. Next phase, finishing, we finished the waistband, so we're doing now the waist itself with granite, as you see. And we're building now the upper arms at this section here with the granite. And the back of the throne here. All right, over here, a bit more detail for the granite here. It's just going straight up, but we do have little extensions over here to represent the pharaoh's arm and muscles on the sides here. We want to exaggerate those a little because we want to give the impression that the pharaoh is very strong and you should not mess with him. And that is, of course, reflected in the statue. So, details here. We are now getting to the upper chest along here and the back of the throne chair here. All right, details here at the front. I think everything on this phase looks like it just goes straight up from the previous one, except for this little line of diorite at the back here. All right, next phase, we are building now the upper chest of the pharaoh. Of course, we want to have the exaggerated pectoral separation up here to give the appearance that our pharaoh is very jacked, and you should leave him alone if you know what's good for you. Again, details along the front here. Of course, the quality of Egyptian statues would vary from dynasty to dynasty. Some of the stuff in the Old Kingdom was quite bad, but some of it was also quite good. Same holds true for the middle of the Middle Kingdom. Not so much the start of it, though. And the New Kingdom stuff was also rather bad when it started, but it got very nice later on. And these statues we're building here are This design was used throughout all of Egyptian history, but I think it was used most extensively in the New Kingdom. All right, so back here we have differences on the back of the throne chair. We're now starting to round this thing off. I think in a couple of phases we'll be finishing it. So here are details again for the front. We have the same headdress that we built on our Sphinx over there. We are now building, of course, for this statue here. You see, I think these are the shoulders that we're constructing here. The throne chair is rounding off on the back here. Next phase, I think we're building the top of the upper chest, and we'll be building out the neck very shortly. Details on the sides here for the headdress and the rounded shoulders, and the rounded throne behind that one here. All right, and next phase. Same deal, except we're stepping everything back a block. Like you see done here. I believe we are finishing the shoulders at that point there with those 4 blocks. And more details back here for the top of the throne chair at the back. And I think this here, this is actually the top most of the throne chair at the back. So your entire throne chair should look something like this from the back. And at the front here, we have 1 block free-floating here for the beard for our pharaoh statue, just like we had for our Sphinx. Like you see done here, the false beard. They didn't actually grow beards in that shape, as near as I can tell. They would always have a sort of a strap-on false beard. All right, details for the headdress around the sides here, and just a straight cobble at the back. All right, the next phase, another block here for the beard, the neck behind that, and then the headdress on the sides here. It is blended into the throne chair design at the back here. 1 last block here for the beard. And more details for the headdress. I think we're just stacking that up and alternating the layers of diorite and deep slate tiles. So again, I think we're going to have a 5x5 face here for the granite, for the large and expressionless face, as all of our statues have. Like you see done here. Next phase, same deal. I think you're just stacking that straight up. You're just alternating the white and the black as you see done here. Next phase, same deal. Like you see done here. Next one after that, we have now the eyes for those, as you see done here. As an aside, if you want to, you can replace the blocks back here with perhaps some blocks of redstone or something, or sometimes I will place some redstone torches here as well, because they give off just a little bit of red glowing light. Make your statues look a little extra spooky if you want them to do that, but you can experiment with that. Now over here, we're building the forehead of our pharaoh statue and the headdress attached to that. Next phase, we have finished the face, and we are now only building the headdress. Like you see done here. And next phase after that, I think we are now finishing the headdress. We have 1 block here for the serpent, the cobra Uraeus, that we will have on the front of that. Like you see done there. Next phase, we're building out now out of cobbled deep slate a bit more of the lowest part of the interface between the headdress and what is going to be the double crown that we are about to build. So here, let's take a look at that from the top down. It's a very simple design. This is the design here, outlined in granite for the red crown of Lower Egypt. We have to build that one first because the white crown of Upper Egypt will be slotted into it. You see done here. Of course, we have our finished uraeus out the front there. We just stacked that up twice in granite for the lowest parts of the red crown. Here we have a little bit of diorite set one block back to represent the white crown. Very tricky to do these. So we have a bit of diorite here for the white crown and a bit of red here at the back for the red crown. A bit more diorite and granite here. Of course, if you want to, you can try and modify these to perhaps only wear the white crown or only wear the red crown. But generally speaking, the pharaoh was always shown wearing the double crown on most occasions, because it was always a big deal to be the pharaoh of Upper and Lower Egypt, because they weren't always unified throughout history. Whenever there wasn't a pharaoh, they would generally break apart. Sometimes there were dynasties in the north and dynasties in the south that would fight with each other. A bit more detail for the crown here. And a bit more here. That's going to be the last element of the large statue here that we're building. Just 2 blocks of diorite here, 1 block of granite. And now just 1 more block of granite and 1 more behind that. And that will finish off the top of the double crown. So your seated pharaoh statue should now resemble something like this and be complete. All right, for the last statue design here, we have the standing pharaoh statue, which it is just a variant of the seated one, but it's going to be a little bit taller. It follows mostly the same designs and patterns, but we have to get all the way back down to the end here so we can begin again for the last statue. All right, let's begin last statue, the large standing statue. The dimensions for this are 17 by 18 by 63 blocks tall, which means we're going to have 63 slices to work through. Try and do those rather quickly. For this one, you will need 1,016 blocks of diorite, 899 blocks of granite, 848 blocks of cobbled deep slate, 329 deep slate tiles, and if you want to make it solid, you will need 4,544 blocks of cobblestone. So to start with, 17 by 18, 17 that way, 18 back that way. You know the drill with making the base. The base for this one follows the same patterns as the seated one. We have 1 and 4, and then 1, 1, and then 2 on sides here. Of course, if you want to have a different design motif scrolling around the base of your statue, feel free to make changes. You don't have to do it like this. You do have to have the base, but you don't have to have the same design. So stack that up. You know how to do that. Cobbled deep slate all around. And then on the top here, we will be making this pattern here. So for this, I think it's fairly easy to see. All you have to do is pause and replicate the blocks here. I will give you some measurements for this. So in the middle we have our center line right here. Then I think 5 wide total. It's not completely symmetrical. Remember, from the first part, we have one of the feet is forward of the other one. It becomes symmetrical near the top, though. So we have different designs for the base here, only very slightly. It's the same design along the back, though. Like you see done there. And once you have done that, we want to make the pattern here with the granite feet, like that there. One of them is set 2 blocks farther forward than the other one is. And then we have this post thing behind that the statue is attached to give the statue enough rigidity to stand up on its own. Very common sculptural technique to just put something solid behind the statue, so you don't have to worry about it breaking in two. Next phase up from that, we're doing the granite for the feet here like so. And it's attached on this side to the post behind that. Like that there. Next phase, we have a bit more, I think we're building now the ankles. Like so, and just the same design that we have established already for this. We're going to be stacking this up for quite a number of phases, just like we did with the back of the throne. We're going to be doing that for this. So we got the anklets right here made out of diorite. Then we build that up again a block and just make it out of cobbled deep slate. And then after that, again, it is diorite like so. Then back to the granite. I want to overhang it just a little bit here. We're past the ankles now and we're building out the calves of the statue. The back here, this is still being stacked straight up. I don't think, unless there's a little change like this here at this level, I'm going to not directly remark on those to save a little time. Over here for the legs, we're just stacking everything straight up back here on both of those. Next phase here, same deal, all the way around. This pattern here is gone back to what it was below there. More of the legs here, just going straight up like so, all around there. Over here, a bit more of the legs. I think we're also starting to build out the knees here at this level. Next phase, yes, indeed, we have a bit more of the knees outlined here, like so. And along back here, we have now a bit of coupled deep slate along the top there. All right, one more block level up. Done like so here with the granite. Along the sides, building now the upper legs. Next phase here. A bit more of that. Try and give you all the angles for that in here. The leg shapes are generally symmetrical to each other. They're just at different positions. Back here and next phase up. I think these blocks here represent the kneecaps of our statue. Done like so. Next phase. I think we're now completely attached to the statue. We're not going to have any more freestanding parts, I don't think. Done like this here. A next phase up from that one. I think you're just stacking everything straight up, it looks like, from the previous phase. Over here, we're introducing diorite because this is our starch kilt for our pharaoh statue, and we just extend that straight to the back along there, like so. Next phase, we have a bit of granite on the sides now to represent the lowest most portion of the hands. For the arms that are hanging down straight at the sides, like you see done here. Next phase, a bit more of the kilt and the hands, like you see done here. All right, next phase here. Kilt and hands again. Next phase, it's almost all diorite here at the front because we have these little bracelets on the side here to echo the ones we built down there, just to tie the whole thing together. Over here, next phase. Let me give you a good view of the back, the post here at the back that's extending straight up. You can see we just have a standard repeating pattern here with the palace facade design. Up here at the front. More detail for the kilt and the post. And here at the front again, I think this is going to be the last portion of the kilt. Granite for the arms. And over here we have a waistband for it. At the top here with the cobbled deep slate and the arms hanging just straight square sections along the sides there. All right, at the front here, we're now building out the waist. And I think we've done all of the forearms pretty much, so we're going to be doing the waist and the upper arms. Let's give you a good view of that here. With the granite, overhangs it here just a little bit around the sides, and no changes to the repeating pattern at the back. All right, here again we're building out the lower chest. The next phase, same deal, just some small details right there. Next phase again, we're building out the lowest most portion of the upper chest. Right here, just like we had with the pectoral separation with our seated statue, we're doing that again with the standing one. Like you see done here. All right, next phase. Same deal. Small details on the sides here though. We're capping off our shoulders at this level here. And over here again, a bit more of the chest. And the sides with the shoulders over here. At the front here, the chest again, and the lowest most portions of our headdress that we've been building many times throughout this tutorial. The striped headdress there, we're going to be building that again for this statue. All right, over here again, we have finished off the chest. We're building out the upper area for our neck and our headdress hanging down on the sides here. And our shoulders on the sides here, and of course the post on the back here. You can see this pattern has now repeated 3 times. And I think that's as many times as I did that. Over here again, stepping everything back. Like so. We're finishing off the shoulders right there. And the post at the back here with the cobbled deep slate. Now here we have, of course, a free floating block. You know what that means. That is the beard. Going to be a 3-block beard. And then a 5x5 face. Like that there. Alright, details here for the neck and the beard. And the headdress. Some time ago, the statue became symmetrical, by the way. So I'm just showing you one side. Because it's the exact same on the other side. I think once we got past this level right here, the statue becomes symmetrical again, as we see. So 3 blocks for the beard and the neck and the headdress here, like so. We're building out again our face, just like we built for that statue over there. It's an identical face. No changes on that, just how it interfaces with the post back here is the only different part, really. So the face, the headdress, and the post. And again here, the face, the headdress, and the post. Here we have our eyes for our statue here. If you want, you could also put glowstone in there, perhaps. That might look interesting. Or perhaps magma blocks. Might look a little more muted. If you want to have an angry pharaoh statue. And over here again, our flat expressionless face, headdress behind that, and the post. So it looks like this did repeat 4 times, not 3. Here again, topping off our headdress, we've now finished the face. Being done like that there, and of course the post back there, it's just gone straight up from when we started building it. And over here we have a free-floating block of cobbled deep slate. You know what that means. That is going to be the uraeus that we're going to be building like that there. And the pillar behind that here. I think we're going to be finishing off this pillar soon. Over here again, we are transitioning from the headdress to the cobbled deep slate here. So you know what that means. We are about to build yet again the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt on the top of our pharaoh statue, like so. Over here again, you can see we are indeed doing the granite, representing the red crown of Lower Egypt. As done here, we finished our little uraeus right there. And we are beginning to cap off the pillar on the back here. And we're doing that here with the diorite. That's going to be 2 blocks tall, I think. Maybe 3. And over here again with the the red crown like you see. Up here again with now the granite and the diorite. This is our white crown that we're now building. And the very last bits of the pillar at the back here that the statue is tied into. I think actually this point right here, this is the end of that. And you're just doing that out with the simple rings of diorite, cobbled deep slate, and deep slate tiles. So here again at the front, it's just colliding directly in with the pillar. We have our double crown. And from this point on, we're only going to be building the double crown as you see done here. Like that there. There is some small details. It does get tied in to the post a little bit more. Right there again with just all diorite here. And then just a bit of diorite, and we can now see the back of the red crown poking up through this little rectangle back here. And just a couple of blocks of diorite and 1 block of granite there. 2 blocks of diorite, 1 block of granite, and then 1 more block of granite, and 1 more block of granite on top of that. And your standing pharaoh statue will be complete. So I hope you have enjoyed the Egyptian statue tutorial series. There is one other statue for this I have made. It's a very large freestanding Ozymandias statue. But that one's going to have to wait a little while, because I think the next thing I want to do is jump into perhaps a couple of pyramid designs, and then maybe a couple of buildings, and then after that we will probably go back to a statue. But I want to thank you very much for watching, and hope you have a lot of fun building these statues. And until next time, so let it be written, and so let it be done.